Well, people, can you hear me now? I don't know. Test 1 2. Test. Test 1 2. Don't have any idea what's going on. Recording devices. Where are we? Bluetooth. Hello? Hello, Bluetooth. Properties. Listen. Levels. Why does the level keep getting shut down? Okay. Hello? Testing 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing. Hello? Hello? Okay, now I know why it goes down. Testing 1 2. Hi, Vanessa. I don't know. Oh, we got volume now? Oh, finally. I've been playing around. Haven't been able to get volume to work. All right, that means I got it. All right, this is just one cam. I'm just testing some things out. This is great. I got the audio to work. So, Okay, volume seems good. Okay, great. So how are you, Vanessa? I see you all the time on the side chats. You live up in Connecticut. I'm on Long Island. I live on Long Island. I wish we lived actually a little closer, because I know you're trying to do some reloading, and I've been reloading since the late 70s. I'd be more than glad to help you out. Hey, Washaw, how you doing? Again, I'm just testing here. I don't know. I'm not doing anything special. I just haven't been able to get the audio to work all afternoon. We finally got it, Yeah, Vanessa, I see you all the time. You're getting ready to buy equipment and stuff for reloading, and I would really love to be able to help you out. I live, I'm the closest person to you, but still I'm 100 miles away, even by the ferry. So I live in Suffolk County on the South Shore. But if you ever need any questions, you feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to try to help. A lot of stuff out there. You're going to get a million opinions. I don't like to tell people how to go about setting up their first reloading equipment. My first equipment in the mid 70s was an RCBS Junior, and I loaded 3006 with that thing. So, and 3030 and 357. It worked great, but it's time consuming because it's a single stage press. I reloaded for so many years with that press. It's crazy. Then I bought a rock chucker, which made life a little easier. And then I finally, I was out of guns for quite a while. I got back into it a little over a year ago, and picked up the Pro 1000, the Lee Pro 1000, and the newer version, no, not the older style, the newer style. And it worked great. I had no problems with it. And then I bought the Lee Value Turret Press. I chose that over the old style. I like the way it looked better. I don't do much with it yet, but I'm using it. And I also picked up the new Lee Auto Breech Lock Pro, and I love that because that has for 4 dies. You really need to have something where you can get 4 dies in there. It makes a big difference. But it also depends on how you plan the load. Everybody does things differently. I do all my case processing on a single stage press. I use my rock chucker for it because now my RCBS Junior I now use as a sizer for my lead bullets. Mounted upside down, works great. And so basically what I do is I have a universal decapping die. You can buy Lee's if you want. It works fine. I decap all my brass. And then I put it in my wet tumbler, which is the Frankfurt Arsenal, and with the stainless steel pins, the Dawn, No Let Me Shine. I put it in there for about 2 hours. And then from there, I just strain it out, clean it, rinse it well. And I put it in a toaster oven at about 180 degrees for a half hour, and they're dry. Then after that, I use the lanolin and heat, as they call it, or lanolin and alcohol. 1%, 1 ounce of lanolin to 12 ounces of alcohol. Shake it up really good. I then use a 12-inch by 14-inch by maybe 1 inch or 2 inch deep, aluminum pan, baking pan of some sort. I throw a bunch of brass in it. A few squirts of the lanolin mix. Mix it up. I would put rubber gloves on, the thin, rubber gloves, and I mix it in my hands quite well to make sure every case is coated. Then I put that in my broiler toaster oven for like 5 or 6 minutes at 150 degrees to evaporate the alcohol faster. Because you do not want to use that spray. When you spray on the brass, you want to let that alcohol dry off before you start resizing. If it's still wet, then you are more likely not going to get a good lubrication, and you will stick a case. So then again, I do all that on a single stage press. I do all my resizing there. So now I've got my basic brass prepped done. Then I take that brass and I clean it again, okay, because the lanolin leaves a film. And I put that back in my tumbler. And again, I always use very, very hot water. And all I do in the tumbler is put a little heavier concentration of Dawn, let it spin for about 15, 20 minutes, and it gets the lanolin off. Then you dry the cases again, and now you're ready for the next step, which is, since you've resized, your next step, if you're doing rifle cases, is to trim. There's various ways of trimming. Everybody has what they like or doesn't like. But I do a lot of brass. I do 223 is my main rifle caliber that I shoot a lot of. I have over 20,000 pieces of brass. And they're all sized. I don't go. Everybody has different methods of what they believe in. I size all my 223 brass. Yes, I wash my cases, wash the brass after sizing to remove the lanolin. I also happen to have a very large ultrasonic cleaner that I use also to wash the brass. And again, very hot water, a little bit of Dawn soap, and 10 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner, and they're clean. And then I bake them again. I rinse them off in hot water again to make sure all the soap and stuff is off. And then I put them in the toast oven for 10 minutes on 180 degrees or so, 15 minutes, and they dry. So that, again, always keeping everything clean. And then for trimming my rifle brass, I use the world's fastest trimmer. They're like $80-$90 per caliper. But once you get it set, you'll never have to touch it again. You do maybe 50 to 100 rounds of brass, and you clean out the shavings and continue. And I resize my 223 brass to 1 point. Oh God, I'm doing things to memory. 1.50, is that what it's called? World's fastest trimmer, WFT, the world's fastest trimmer. They're about $80, $90, and that's per caliper. Every bullet you buy, you have to buy a different one of those. And I trim my brass. I'm trying to remember the numbers. 1.750 for my 223, and some people do 1.740. I think that's too short. They say, well, if I cut it short, I don't have to trim it for 3-4 firings. you're short, so you don't have as much neck left. You're 10 thousandths less of a neck of an inch. So to me, you're losing some tension on the bullet because it's shorter. And if you seat your bullet to the cantilever, okay, you'll find your bullet length is a little short by 10 thousandths. So I trim my brass to 1.750. I will accept 1748 to 1751. I'll accept any brass in that size. Anything smaller than that, I put in a separate tub. Okay, and I use that for like experimenting with different loads. And I don't load it to the cantilever. I load it to length with the caliper, right? And eventually, after some testing and stuff, they will shoot and get longer again. But I don't like to use brass less than 1.748 is the lowest I go. I try to trim to 1.750. That's on 223. Then you have to chamfer, and you got to get the bars off the end. There's different ways of doing it. There's machines you can buy inexpensively, etc. I also have the Franklin Arsenal platinum whatever trimming thing. It has a case trimmer built into it. That's why I originally bought it, because I bought that before I did the world's fastest trimmer. And the reason why I did that was I didn't know how much brass I was really going to trim, and it was actually working pretty good. But it takes a toll on your hands. It doesn't, when you're trying to trim a lot of brass. So the world's fastest trimmer, I actually have a small drill press on my bench. I put it in there. I find it very easy to use, and it's much faster than the Franklin Arsenal system. But the Franklin Arsenal system has all the burring tools that you can put on it. So you can do, take all the inside and outside bars off the case. And it also has, it's Franklin Arsenal. I don't remember the whole name of it. Let's see if I can look it up while I'm talking to you. Frank for Arsenal. Okay, let's see what they call it. Frankfurt Arsenal Case Trim and Prep Center. You can, all right, but this is the Platinum series. That one has the actual case trimmer on it as well. They do sell one without the case trimmer, which, depends. If you're going to buy a separate case trimmer, then you don't necessarily need to go with this one. If you're not going to be loading a lot of brass, if you're not going to be reloading, 5,000 rounds of something, then the Franklin Arsenal with the case trimmer in it works good, because you can use different calipers in it. You just have to change the collets inside the thing. It's pretty quick and easy to change, and it's easily adjustable as well. So if you're only going to do, you're only going to have a few hundred rounds of different calipers, then that would be the way to go. If you're going to be doing thousands of rounds of one caliper, you may want to switch over to the world's fastest trimmer, because you buy it for that specific caliper, and once you set it, you can do it much faster. But that Franklin Arsenal thing has tools you plug into it, so you can have like I said, the internal and external bar removing of the case, and also you can put on other attachments depending on what you want. As far as removing the crimps from military brass, I use, and again, Highboy uses it, but I've been using it for many, many years, the RCBS military crimp removing tool. And they make it in two sizes for small and large primers. And you can chuck that in a drill. You can put it in a drill press, or it will screw into that Franklin Arsenal system, and that will help you to remove your crimps. And it does a great job of it. It's easy. I bought one of those swaging tools. I bought the RCBS bench mounted version, and I tried and tried and tried, adjusting and adjusting, and no matter what I do, the primers are still hard to get in, and so what I wound up buying was a no-go tool to test the diameter and the depth of the primer pockets. So if the go gauge doesn't go in, that means your primer is going to have a hard time getting in. So the swaging tool that I bought, the RCBS one, I spent $90 on that thing, and in my opinion, it doesn't do anything. And I tried it on many brands of cases, many times, and no matter how I adjust, I have it adjusted to the point where I can barely even move the handle to do the swaging. And I'll tell you, it's too slow, and it doesn't do the job that I want it to do. So that's another tool that's important, is that RCBS military crimp remover, along with the primer pocket no-go gauge. That's going to be worth its weight in gold, because you can also test it to find out if the primer pocket is too big. So you know if the no-go gauge goes in, that means your primer pocket is too big. That means you'll have loose primers. So that's also something else to know about. But those are the basics. Pistol, the only pistol brass I ever trimmed was 357. And I'll pick up a bunch of range brass, or I get some from somebody, get somebody that sold a lot of range brass, pick it up cheap. And 357, you really don't want it too long, because if you're loading to the case, your bullet could be sticking out a little too far. So my 357s, okay, 357, okay. Make sure you buy carbide dies. It makes a big difference. And if you're buying the Lee brand dies, get the 4-die set. The biggest thing about pistol caliber and even rifle caliber is, for me, 357. And since you're getting 44 mag, I would also check those case lengths for trimming, there's different ways of trimming that. Okay. There's different ways of trimming pistol brass. Lee makes these little things that fit into the cases. You've seen them showing it on, Uncle Jim had them on. I don't really like those things. They work. If you don't have a lot of cases to do, they work. It's fine. If you have a lot of cases to do, I suggest, I have the Lyman unit, benchtop unit, where you put in different collets and you adjust it, and you can put a drill on it or crank it by hand, whichever you want. And you want certain things like 44 Magnum. When you're going to go reload them, the first time you're reloading that brass, you want to check the overall length. Anything that's too long, put in a pile. Okay, everything else is good. The same with the 357. Anything that's too long, put in a separate pile. They will need to be trimmed, but they only need to be trimmed probably that one time. I mean, I have 357 brass from the 1970s that I trimmed once and have never had to trim them again. So it really just depends on, what brass you're getting in your hands. Different manufacturers, the case length could be a little longer. I find, on the 223, the Federal FC, I think they call it, is the head stamp FC. The FC, I believe, the cases are short. When you measure after you fire them, they're short. Instead of that 1750 that you're looking for, they're coming in at 1740, 1738. And I mean, that's once fired. They're short cases to start with. So I avoid that brass. Okay. Any of the Federal brass I get for my 223. I can't speak for other calipers, but for 223, I keep them separate. And the reason why I keep them separate is they become test brass, meaning testing. I just bought an annealing system. I wasn't really doing much annealing, but I decided that I'm going to start doing it. I have a video on my channel where I did it in steel shot. It worked well, but it's too slow. And you got to sit there. So I spent the money and I bought the Anneals, Annealeez, Annealzy. It's like 4 to 6 week delivery time. It's $275. A lot of money, but you can load 200 plus pieces of 223 brass in it. Once you have it adjusted now, because you have to adjust the timing, that's what I use the brass that I don't keep anymore. I keep that brass aside, and when I have to set that up, I'm going to test it with that. So okay, I know I got the right annealing going on. Then I can, I'll throw that brass out once it's annealed. And then what I do is now I can stack 200, 250 cases in the annealer, push the button, and I can go over to my other bench and continue working on something else while that is processing 200 pieces of brass. So I don't have to sit in front of it. So that's why I went and bought the anneals. Powder measures. There's all kinds of stuff out there. I can't tell you what not to buy and what to buy. It's depending on the powders you choose. Certain powders measure very well. Certain powders don't measure as well. And okay, yes, continue on other while they, I can do other processes while they are annealing. Yes, that's why I spent the money on the machine. My time is worth money. Okay, that's the way I look at it. Even though it's a hobby, I don't count my time. But if I have to sit in front of some people buy that salt bath. If I have to do a couple of thousand rounds in the salt bath, you're doing 2, 3 at a time. It takes 8, 10 seconds a piece. You're sitting there in front of that thing forever, and you're doing nothing else. So therefore, that's why I went with the anneals. I added that. I'm about another 2.5 weeks out. They'll ship it, and so I got to turn my TV off. I just realized on my TV, I was watching my drag racing. I'm into drag racing. Basically, what happens is the anneals works by itself. Once you set it, you walk away. You can go and continue doing something else, whether it be resizing, depriming, or loading. And again, in my loading, I don't care if the press says it can make 500 rounds an hour. If I'm making 100 an hour and every one of them is a perfect one, that's what I consider a good day loading. My other half helps me with the reloading. She does certain things. She does a lot of depriming. She does a lot of resizing. And when I'm loading 223 cases, I don't like to use a powder drop. Possible inconsistency. I'm not a long range shooter, but I like to have accurate rounds. So I have the Lyman auto powder drop. You fill it up and you push the button and it drops the powder and weighs it and does it all for you. Mine works great. You got to understand the instructions for it to work. But when I'm loading 223, my wife will be sitting over there and she'll be running a powder measure and dumping the powder into the cases. She inspects the cases. Then, she hands me 50 cases in a block. I inspect the cases, make sure they're all in. It's I have for my 223, it's an AR-15. It's a Deltron, New York State compliant rifle. It is not semi-automatic because that's New York State law, but I do have a removable clip, so that's the part that's nice about it. So it's, I have to do and go that way. Now, Kitty, the powder measure that I'm going to be buying another one. Franklin Arsenal just released a new one. It's cheaper than most of them out there. It has the biggest feature that I like about it, which everybody seems to be raving about it in the reviews that I've read, is it has an automatic system where it has a learning system. You put powder in it, and it automatically learns. Just teaches itself what powder's in it, and you'll supposedly drops perfectly every time. So that's the Franklin Arsenal one. It's a new one. I'm using the red, not Lee. Is it the? Yeah, I have the Lyman. Okay, I like it. The RCBS is expensive compared to the Lyman's cheaper, but the new one, look into it, is the Franklin Arsenal. They have one. There's reviews on it on YouTube already and stuff. The guy, what's it, Gavin Tube, I think it is. I think it's Gavin Tube. He does the whole thing on the new Franklin Arsenal. It's really nice. Okay, Washer, removable magazine. In New York, your options on your rifle limit you to what it can have. Most AR-15s in New York require a fixed magazine. If you have a fixed magazine, meaning it's not removable, you can have a semi-automatic, but it can't have an adjustable stock. Okay, so there's variables. Now, mine is considered a single shot. And basically what you have is I have a removable magazine. I have an adjustable stock. Okay, I have a flash on it, a muzzle flash thing on it. Okay, and like I said, removable magazine. Now, when I pull the trigger and fire, the bolt will stay open. I have to push a little button that releases the bolt and loads the next round. So it's considered a single shot. So that's why I can have the removable magazine. That's why I chose that rifle, the AR-15 that I chose. And it's just a fun gun. I don't do anything with it. It's just a fun gun. My hunting rifle, which I haven't hunted in years, I'm getting too old for it, is a 30-06. And it's hard to shoot, so I got to develop some light rounds so I can enjoy it. I have recently purchased, Vanessa, 10 rounds at most in any magazine in New York, and I think it's the same in Connecticut. But defending yourself, and yeah, 15 was designed for a lot of things. Okay, but what I wound up recently buying, and I haven't shot it yet because I bought it over the winter, was the Ruger PC carbine. Okay, and it's a 9mm. Yeah, I did a review on it. I opened on my channel, and I haven't fired it yet. Hopefully, very soon. Very soon I'm going to shoot that. It's everything I'm reading about it. Everybody's shooting and says they love them. I mean, Walter Brennan, he got one and he loves it. So he's got to shoot it, and it's easy to load for 9mm. You get all the brass you want for free, and I'm casting. So pistols in New York, same thing. 10 rounds. We can't have more than 10 rounds. Okay. I have an old Browning BDA from the late 70s. It's a 380. It was made with 13-round clips. Okay. Thank God I didn't have dozens of them. That's just, it was the gun I chose to buy to carry back in the day. And basically, the Browning BDA 380, I love the gun. It fires great. I mean, and whatnot. But I had to go out and buy magazine stops. You can buy them and take apart your magazine and install them. I had to do that for the 2 I had. And then I bought quite a few more mags. So I have, magazines available because I'm back into shooting again after a long time not being in it. And I also got into casting quite heavily. I mean, I probably have down in my garage somewhere in the area of 700 pounds of lead in ingot form already. And then I have another couple of 100 pounds of a couple 100 pounds of linotype, and another couple 100 pounds of soft lead. And then I have I'm one of the zinc guys. I'm playing with zinc, and I haven't done much shooting with it yet, but I'm buying newer molds that I'm buying now in steel, and I plan to start casting the zinc. And I got probably 400 or 500 pounds of zinc melted down into ingots. So I'm into all ends of it. I don't like to say I'm an expert, even though I've been doing it for many, many years. There's always something new that comes out. There's always some new trick to learn. There are so many things out there, and it's to keep learning. Every recycler who may sell me lead scrap, hopefully he has it for a good price. Well, I have a local recycler down here that he had. Each bucket weighs approximately 120 pounds. So they're 5-gallon buckets, and it's mixed. So it's lead, steel, and zinc. And he's had them sitting there because no one wanted to buy it from him unsorted. He sold them to me. He's selling it to me for 30 cents a pound. So that's a good deal. And I have to separate the lead and the zinc and the steel. And he offered to me, once they were separated, he would buy back whatever I didn't want. So I'm bringing back all the steel to him, which, it's nothing, 3-4 cents a pound. They don't give you much. Okay. The zinc I'm keeping because I'm going to be melting it. It's not a big deal to do zinc. I have no issues casting it. It's just you can't use a bottom pour pot. You have to use a pot on a burner and use to ladle pour it, but it works fine. Okay. And then the same, a lot of these scrap houses you go into, they have soft lead you can get, and it's around 80 cents a pound, which is not bad, but it's big chunks. So it's hard to work with it to get it cut down to fit in, to fit in a pot to melt it. But I can get pretty much all that I want. And I have a bunch of people that are supposed to be contributing to my lead, but and I told them, you give me lead, I'll make you sinkers. There you go. I've got poured sinkers since I was a kid. There you go. I have a couple of people that want sinkers, ask me if I do sinkers for them. And I told them, I said, well, I don't have a mold. I said, so, if I got 10 people that wanted me to make them, I said, everybody give me $10 towards a mold, and I'll buy the molds. I'll buy the mold to make your sinkers. And if you can, any lead you can supply, if you can get for free, I'll make you. I have no problem making you sinkers. In return, I get to keep some of the lead. So, but none of them come through with the lead. Oh, I know 5 people that own gas stations, and I know this guy and I know that guy. Yeah, it's 6 months. Nobody's brought me any lead. So I don't count on other people. I just count on me because I know I can depend on me. I don't fish, so I don't need the sinkers. Matter of fact, I have a friend on Facebook that I hooked up here about 8 months ago, and he lives a half hour from me. And we've been back and forth, and we've traded. I have some tin and stuff, and he trades me lead for tin and things like that, and we bullshit all the time. I bought some powder from him, and he's got some molds for the sinkers, and he told me I can borrow them anytime I want. So that's not really an issue for me to do that. Oh, it's getting dark out. I can turn the other light on. You might see me better. Hey, there you go. So basically, it's all part of the hobby. Like today, I spent, let's see, zinc is a little bit harder to melt down the first time. Okay. And I got to change the angle of this camera. I got a few different cameras, but this one seems to be working the best. I just got to lower it so you can see my face better. But anyway, I spent, let's see, I went outside at 11 o'clock. I set up my turkey fryer base and my cast iron pot and came in the house at about 1:45. So 11, 12, 1, 3 hours, 3.5 hours I spent out there. And I managed to take, a half of a 5-gallon bucket worth of half of a 5-gallon bucket. So it's about 45, 50 pounds, so maybe 60 pounds of zinc, and melted it into ingots. And it only took a few hours, So I got 2 more buckets to finish on the zinc, though. That takes a while, but, one step at a time. I have almost all my lead is melted into ingots. Now I'm just finishing off the zinc. Over the winter, I guess oh God, I can't believe how many bullets I cast over the winter. I probably cast 80, 90 pounds of 9mm in 2 different weights. I casted a bunch of 223, but I don't know. I haven't shot them yet. I'm going to go out and find out how they work. I only loaded a few. I'm ordering a new mold from NOE Molds. I'm ordered a little heavier bullet, a 62 grain, specifically because the Lee mold for the 55 grain has a spot for a gas check. And watching several people that load it and talk about, the accuracy of it, you're not shooting, 100-yard targets is about max for any accuracy. I don't really even shoot 100-yard targets. My range, the local range that I go to is, I think it's 65 or 70 yards. That's where I'm shooting. And the 55 grain bullet mold that Lee makes has a spot for a gas check. So to me, that means, because I'm powder coating, I don't have a gas check. And that's how most people are doing it. I think because that extra piece of diameter is missing where the gas check goes on, I think that's making the bullet a little unstable because there's not as much bullet touching the rifling in the barrel. So I plan to have a friend of mine machine the mold for me and take that out. But this new mold is a little heavier bullet, a 62 grain, and it has no spot for gas check. It's smooth on the back. And so I feel it'll be more in the rifling, more stabilization in the bullet. And my rifle's a 1-in-9 twist, so it's the 62 is like the 65 is like the max weight for the 1-in-9 twist. So 62 should be good. But at the same time, because the bullet is so small, okay, I'm going to just bring something out when casting in zinc. 38, 357, 9mm. If you're using an aluminum mold, you will ruin it. And what you're ruining more than anything is when you're hitting it, trying to break, cut it with the sprue plate. So that's when you're doing the most damage to your die. But a 223 is such a small diameter. I'm thinking that it's not going to be as much of a problem to the die. So I'm hoping with the 62 grain bullet that I plan to cast, I'm going to try casting it in zinc for my 223 because I don't have to powder coat it to do anything. But it's just an experiment, No, Vanessa, the mold itself is made out of aluminum, but the sprue plate, which is the part that cuts off the bullet in the mold, those are made out of steel. But whacking that with a hammer to open it up is causing the bullet to like wobble within the aluminum, which therefore is going to put wear and tear on the mold, where the base will become a little wider and stuff. I mean, Kenny, what's that? Eagle Eye Shooting. That's the whole thing. Everybody, you can't use an aluminum mold for a bigger bullet, but on a 223 it might work. I'm going to experiment, and I'm only going to do a few. I'm not going to do a bunch in zinc. I'm going to do a few and test and see how it shoots and stuff like that. Because the zinc is free. I mean, nobody wants the zinc, so you go out and you go to your local gas stations and stuff and get a half a 5-gallon bucket full of wheel weights. You're going to get some lead, you're going to get some steel, and you're going to get some zinc. So the steel you can't use, but the other two you can if you take the time to do it. And again, it's just the zinc is just a lighter bullet in weight. Even the rest of the spec will be the same, and it's a lighter bullet. You just have to work up a powder charge, and once you work up the powder charge, everything you can load them forever. And again, zinc is better to shoot than lead because you get lead fouling. Zinc is not as hard as a jacketed bullet. Okay. Mold is shrinking in the mold enough to make them wobble. No, they don't shrink that way. No, I try to explain it to you. The zinc bullet doesn't shrink in the mold. It's just the force it takes to cut the sprue compared to what it takes to cut lead. All right. You're putting excessive pressures on that area of the mold. So, and it's aluminum. Aluminum is soft, so it's eventually going to wear that part, that the back of the bullet in the mold is going to wear that area a little bit. It's going to start rounding it off. That's what will happen to it. But the bullet doesn't come out small. I have two videos up that I did with zinc sizing. I never did a video the first time. The first time I cast it in zinc, I had no issues. But the second time I cast it in zinc, tried to resize the bullets. I almost was breaking things. It was ridiculous. So I had to figure out what the difference was. And the difference was the first time I cast it in zinc, I water quenched. The second time I did not water quench. The water quench shrinks it a little bit. So therefore it made it easier to size. What type of mold other than aluminum for zinc? You have to buy steel molds. You got to buy like Lyman molds. Lyman makes steel molds. Okay. There's other people that make steel molds, but they're very expensive. And steel molds are very heavy. Okay. So I have no issue working with a 6-cavity 9mm 124 grain bullet mold, 6-cavity, no problem. You pick up a 3-cavity steel mold that weighs just as much as that 6-cavity Lyman does. So, you buy a 6-cavity steel mold, it's heavy. So the most I'm going to buy, like my 223, what I have now, that's a Lee mold. What did I buy? The Lyman molds I bought for 357 are steel, okay, and I bought a secondary Lyman mold for doing the 9mm in steel, and it's only a 2-cavity mold. The only advantage to a 6-cavity mold is you can make a lot more bullets. You can make your bullets faster. So casting is fun. I enjoy it. I'm not in a race for anything. So in 1 hour with a 2-cavity mold, I'm doing maybe 300 bullets, maybe more. With a 6-cavity mold, I'm doing 600 bullets in that hour. Okay. But, it depends on how many bullets you got to load. I mean, during the winter is when I do my casting. I sit in the garage, open the garage door, fire up the pot, and I do my casting. And when the weather gets warmer, like this time of year, that's when I do all my this time of year I put on and do what do you call it? I do all my raw melting of materials because I'm doing that outside. Okay, so I don't have to work in the garage. There's no smoke from your pot unless you're running it way too hot or something. But I usually just have the garage door open with a fan behind me blowing out the garage door, and that's all you really need. Yeah, it's your brother. If does he load at all, Vanessa? Your brother? Or is he going to be learning too? To rest molds on a while I use them, I have zoom and right side down. I will have to have a method to be able to rest. Oh, it's very easy. I haven't made any casting videos yet, Vanessa, but I have the Lee 420 pot. Okay, it's your cheapest pot. That's a good pot. They're like $80 or so. They hold 20 pounds of lead, and there's you can make out of anything something to rest your mold on to the right height so you can just slide it across. You're not actually holding the mold in your hand. Okay. I used a piece of aluminum, 2-inch high aluminum U channel. I mean, I work in a machine shop at night, a part-time job, and there's plenty of scrap around. But a 2-inch high block of anything, aluminum, steel, is about the right height, and you put that under your mold, like under the pot, and you just slide your mold across that, so you're not holding the mold in your hand while you pour. Okay, and even when I'm doing ladle pouring with the zinc, I don't hold the mold, okay, out in the air. I have it resting on something. All right. Because it'll get very heavy in your hand as time goes on. So, the shelf under the pot. Okay. There's one guy, somebody built one for somebody online. They've been shipping around to each other, but all you need is anything, about 2 inches high, sitting on the bottom, from the pot there, and it works. Hey, Janito, how are you? So yes, I do have a PID controller. I bought that eventually, and I actually bought 2 of them. And again, if you look at my channel, not that I have a lot of videos, but I have a video on the PID controller where I bought it pre-made. I just had no time to build one. Then talking with Willie Bill, man, he makes them for people, but it's $125 for the parts, that the one he puts together. Okay. And then he's got to ship it to you. So it's like $130, $140 to get it to your house. I have a link in my video to a place up in Canada, to your door, $135, or it's $140 to your door, pre-built. So, and I bought 2 of them. I used one on my toaster oven, broiler, whatever you want to call it. And I used the other one on my pot, and they work great. I don't have a lot of videos, Vanessa, and I don't edit. So sometimes most of my videos don't go over 20 minutes, but I think what I put in my video is quality, and goes from there. I can make the kits if it comes as a kit. Well, it's not really a true kit, Vanessa. It comes you have to buy, like one guy sells some of the parts, the controller, the relay, the heat sink. Okay. And then another guy you got to buy the metal box from, and then you got to buy the switches. Okay. So so it's really not, how should I put it? It's not hard to make it, but you have to have the tools to drill the holes and cut the big window out to put the controller in and stuff. You'll see if you watch the video. It's very, they're not hard to make. It's very simple to make. It's just as long as you have the tools to build it. But the parts cost $120, $130. So for the same price, I bought it already made. So that's the way I looked at it. Well, it's different. There are some cheaper controllers. Okay, there's no question about it. And nobody says you have to put it in a box either, Janito. I mean, I go on the box. The box is like $25. The controller, the better of the controllers are like $35, $40, and then the better relay. When you add up the better. Again, it's not hard to build one. And again, you don't have to build it into a case. It can be out in the open air. So there are different ways of building it. But I just have no issue. I found that one company that makes them in Canada, and I felt that to me, the time involved and the cost of the goods to put it together, I chose to make my own. Hey, Uncle Jim, I think I got it working. What do you think? I got some. I don't know what I did. It just started working. So, sounds good. And so again, the PID control, like I said, I bought it online, company in Canada. It took me days to find somebody who made one. I spoke to them on the phone, nice and talk to. And again, I have a video out there. I have a video out there that, excuse me, that, whatchamacallit, that shows the PID controller, and I open it up and stuff like that. It's no big deal, So, God, how long have I been on? I've been broadcasting for an hour. Wow. That's amazing. Almost an hour. So I wasn't expecting the broadcast. I was just testing, and then you popped on, Vanessa, and we started talking. So that's great. I still have to learn how to do more things on this because I'm live, but I have no clue how to invite anybody. Again, this is just YouTube live stream, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm just glad I got the microphone working. I want a milling machine too, but the drill press is short term to make 80% the low. Yeah, okay. The low is, I'm not worried about the lowers, ones that are legal here. And you're in Connecticut's a little strange what you got to do. I can just walk into a store here in New York and buy a lower. That's you have to put together, but it's all drilled and ready to go. So. Hey, 67 Rebel. So that's about all I have to say on some of these things. Sounds greater. Yeah, I got something going on here. I finally got the door. I don't know what I did to get it to work. It just started working. So it's I have no idea how to bring somebody in here and tell somebody to key up and whatnot. So using by pre-band lowers, right? Unless it was a FFL, yeah. I know it's Connecticut's laws. I thought New York was bad. The only funny part is, Kitty, half the companies that I buy product from will not sell live ammunition to New York, even though they're allowed to. And so I have a company in Connecticut that sells me the ammo. Target Sports USA. I buy and when I buy stuff from them, they ship it. I get it in a couple of days. It's great, But I load most of my own, so it's the only stuff I'm really buying is 22s for my wife's gun and for my 22 pistols. But other than that, wow, that's TargetSportsUSA.com. They ship anywhere where I can't buy from most. Yeah, okay, it's about 20 miles southwest of you. Okay. But they're good. I mean, I can't believe the first time I tried to buy ammo, no one would sell it. You live in New York. What's that mean? I live in New York. There's nothing that says you can't sell it to me. Yep, Target Sports USA. This is, they were trying to implement the law. It's iffy, so we'd rather not take a chance. I said, fine. Yeah. So I don't, Target Sports, at this point in time has gotten any preloaded ammo I buy comes from them because it works for me. Yeah, I'm going to see if you can. I think you can pick up from their warehouse, Vanessa. I really do. But you're 20 miles away. It's a UPS ground next day. It's like it's not expensive to ship it. It cost me, shipping's $5 to $7 here to Long Island. So what can it cost you over there? Wow. I emailed them, but they never answered. Yeah, some of those, you know what? You can get them on the phone a lot easier than you can email them. So, sometimes the email gets overlooked and they don't take care of business that way. A lot of companies. My biggest gripe is I like buying from Midway USA, but their shipping time, yeah, that's free shipping too. That depends on what you're buying from them. That's right, Uncle Jimmy. If they have, free shipping, you're buying the bulk stuff is free shipping. So you can't go wrong if you want to buy 500 rounds of something. It's free shipping. And sometimes they run free shipping on other stuff. Only spend $100 and get the free shipping. So it's they're good. I want a piece of foam rubber from a company, but the shipping was $80. Lots of luck for an object. Always a holiday. Yeah, some companies are ridiculous, but Midway USA every time, free ship for a case. I don't buy a case. I buy a brick. So, but the Midway USA, I'll order something on Saturday or Sunday, and it takes them till Thursday to ship it. It's like, what the hell? What you telling me you're that busy that you can't get my 2 little items in the mail the next day? It's like, that's Midway USA. That's the only thing I gripe about them, but Midway is. I do most of my stuff through Midway. Brownells is a little expensive on a lot of stuff. So, like I said, right. I shop. I know. I really shop well on the internet. Part of what I do for a living is finding things on the internet, and it's like the Franklin Arsenal has the new powder auto powder measure, and I'm trying to get one. And there's a few people that have them in stock, and they want $200 for them. Well, I've got it for $169, but they're out of stock like most everybody else's. So I'm just waiting. Midway says they don't expect them for June, and my birthday's in May, so it'd be nice to buy from them, get the 10% and free shipping off. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Janito, you never know what's going to be with the internet. Hi Boy had texted me earlier about doing a live chat tonight, but asked me if I wanted to go live with him, and he never came back. So I guess something came up, he couldn't do it. 13 days and still haven't got a tracking number from Optics Planet. Yeah, that's what I hate. These companies that take so long to ship. It I can't fathom. I mean, I'm in a business, and people call me, what do you mean you can't ship it today? They get you on the phone. What do you mean you can't ship it today? So I don't understand how these companies operate. I mean, I'm sure they're doing a lot of orders. It's a national company, and and they got when they come in Monday morning, they dread Monday mornings more than the rest of us because of the orders that piled up over the weekend. But I still can't understand. I can order something on a Saturday or Sunday, and it takes until Thursday to ship it. That doesn't make sense to me. Too slow to place in a box and get it out. I don't know what it is. They just, priority. Do they look at the expensive orders and ship them first, or what are they doing? I have no idea. Biggest thing I got to do is now I got to make a few videos. I was going to. This week, it's supposed to rain a lot this week out here on Long Island. So maybe I get home a little earlier Tuesdays and Thursdays. So maybe this week I'll make some new videos on some new products I purchased. Magazine loaders for 9mm. And I buy things just to test them out. And if I don't like them, I send them back. But anyway, you got to make a couple of videos, some things, and see what goes on. All right, this is interesting. I can't believe I'm on here for an hour and I haven't stopped talking. This is amazing, and I got it to work. I don't know what I did, but I got it to work. Well, Rebel, it's not hard to do a video. I mean, live took me some. I was having trouble, but if you have a cam. A cam on your computer, or a notebook with a cam in it. You can do a video, just record a video, and then you just have to upload it to YouTube, okay, or wherever. YouTube, the Reloading Network. There's a few of them, and and you know, that's it. The videos, sometimes if you sit there and try to plan out a video, you make more mistakes than just shooting from the hip. That's why the Uncle Jim videos, the Saturday and stuff, it just goes and goes and goes, and there's jokes and there's good information. So I like to sit there and listen. You know, I don't say a lot in the side channel unless I have something to say, but I read the sidebar, and yeah, you wing it. That's all. That's what we're doing tonight. I just started talking to Vanessa about reloading, and we were talking for 45 minutes from every aspect and different types of presses and different ways of doing things. It's like amazing. You just shoot from the hip. But this is, I don't know what to do with this video when I'm done with it, because this is like, it was a conversation between me and Vanessa, and then a few people jumped in. So I don't know if I should keep this or not. It doesn't show much of anything. It's just a lot of talk. I'll label it. I'm on Saturday nights, Jim. I come on Saturday. I was on last night. You know, even last night you said, you mentioned my name. I didn't forget you this time. So I'm on. I just, you know, I'm not in the, you know, in the video chat thing. I'm, you know, I listen, and it's just the tough part is you need somebody that's got to watch the sidebar, the side chat, because people are asking questions and they get missed. So it's like one person has to be, you know, attentive onto the side chat, because they get frustrated when nobody answers them. You know, it's like if I see something, I try to chat back to them. You know, hey, PC Bullet, nice to see you. Oh my God, I'm getting everybody here. This live chat's not a big deal. I got 6 people on. I wasn't expecting anybody. So we're just chatting, PC Bullet. Started just chatting with Vanessa, and talking about lots of different aspects about reloading and presses and things, and then everybody else started joining in the sidebar. I don't know how to. I'm just on regular YouTube Live. I don't know how to invite anybody in here. I don't get any. I'm holding my cursor on different places on here, and I can't get like invite somebody. I have no idea. I have no idea if I can invite anybody into this. But my biggest thing was getting it to work. I had playing with it earlier. Uncle Jim popped in and stuff. I couldn't get audio going. Then I got audio, and it was terrible. And now all of a sudden, you don't on YouTube Live. Okay, well, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to do this. You know, I do have Google Hangouts, but I haven't figured out how to make that work yet. So, you know, so I have to figure that one out. But that's it. So it's 8 o'clock here in New York, and I think it's I'm again just out here babbling with Kitty and a few others, and like I said, I didn't expect to get this thing to work. Really, I was frustrated, and then for some reason it just started working, and I didn't change anything. So now I got to learn how to do Hangouts, and you know, I've got Hangouts, but I can't figure out how to start a video. You know, it seems like it wants you to invite people. I can't figure out how to start it up, but I'll get that information, and we'll figure out. Hi, AR Precision, welcome on. Again, let's see. Yes, single, then just the sound function, and so I just have to figure out how to do the Google Hangouts, and see if I can, you know, I'll try a live stream with something planned. And if you excuse me a moment, I definitely, again, I wasn't expecting to be on, so I'm sitting here in my robe playing around. I just want to go get something to drink. I'm dry. I'll be right back.
It could be sinuses because it's like right in my nose too. Like it might be a sinus infection, and that's why my head hurts so much. day. Just well, go and I know, Andy. I am so full of pills. Oh, it feels like it's a sinus infection. Oh.
But try this. When I had my second the doctor said take Sudafed. So try it. That's what we get.
Well, it hasn't helped.
I didn't give them to you today.
No.
Okay, let's change this. Okay, I'm back. Does he have a patch? Look, I got to catch up. Yes, he does. You need a pipe with that row. I need a pipe with the row. Again, I wasn't planning on sitting here all night. I was just trying to make it work, and that's it. There you go. If it didn't find, I found Andy's chat. Okay, like now, I think. And Ben, he has issue with computer and couldn't join us. Maybe I should. Does he have a patch to rock? I'm visiting the baby. Okay. I'm back. A cigar and a nice drink. Yeah. Because I was Mr. Uncle Jim there. I was outside smelting down zinc wheel weights today. Did about 80 pounds or so. Building my zinc collection. And, Nest drink, Jolt, Cola. I don't know. I wish I got to find out how to do the live chat where I can have other people on, and I'm not sure how to do that yet. I'm working on it. I think you have to go on to Google Hangouts, which I have, but I haven't figured out how to use it yet. So, what else is going on? Anything here? What's this Hangouts? I have no idea how to do Hangouts. I've been trying to read it and do it, and no matter what I do, I couldn't get a video going. So go to Studio Beta, the classics, the live streaming events, then create live event, and add data, title, and time, and Hangouts option. Go to Studio Beta, okay, and choose the classics, live events, then create live event, then add date, title, and time, and Hangouts option. Okay, I have to look at that You know, I have to go take a look at that. Yeah, I got it, Uncle Jim. I see the hammers. I got to just figure it out. Okay. So you go to Studio Beta, and Beta, then choose the classic, live events, create a live event, add the date, title, and the time. Okay, so you add the time, and Hangouts option. All right, I'll have to play around with it. I'll get it. I just I'm not familiar with some of this YouTube and Hangout stuff, so it's a little tough. I mean, I use 3 or 4 different programs that I'm in touch with people. Skype. There's a program called Pal Talk. There's quite a few other programs out there that I use where I gather with people, and and go from there. So. Well, Uncle Jim, if you had a video that you could put together like that would help everybody out that wants to do it. So yeah, that would be a good video to do. It's wouldn't be too long. 5-10 minute video. I'm sure you would have it out there 1, 2, 3 for everybody. That would be cool. I don't know that I've searched for some videos and. It's like not giving you enough information. That would be great, UJ. Uncle Jim, that would be great. I mean, not that I'm trying to take over doing live chats and stuff, but I mean, there was nothing going on. Hi Boy had texted me, asking me if I wanted to be on a live broadcast tonight, and I said, yeah, I'd love to try one. And he's, I'll get back to you later. We'll set it up, and then it never happened. So. Something probably came up on his end, but that's what got me when I finished all my stuff around the house. I said, "Let me try to do this," which you saw before. I was trying to figure out how to get on. I couldn't get audio. Then I got audio and it was crackling, and my picture was fuzzy, and then all of a sudden it all worked. So I don't know what it was. Within an hour, I'll look at it there. I'm not going to look at it tonight, but I'll look at it tomorrow or something and figure it out. That's for sure. Hammers. Yeah, then you have to invite people, or you give them the hangout invite, or do you invite them, or can you send them a link? The Hangouts link. So, but I'll figure it out. Like I said, I use other programs, and you create a chat room, and you have one person is the room owner, and people come into the room, and you can cam up, and except if you want to watch somebody, you have to click on them to see their video. It doesn't just pop up and down like on YouTube, when somebody talks and it pops up a window. But there's other things that, I go do on there, my car racing and stuff like that. So, that's great. We'll see it all in your video, Uncle Jim. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That should be very helpful to a lot of people. Someone showed me, took a month. Say, there you go. It took you a month to figure it out. Okay. So, it took me a few hours just to get the audio working and the video straightened out, which I still don't know what the problem was. But right now it's working, so that's all that matters. And it's like I said, I have no problems on these other sites that I use. Went right on, turned on things, and it worked. I go on here, and the video's messed up, and the audio's not working, or it's crackling. I didn't touch anything physically as far as microphone or cameras. I have several cameras. I just changed camera, which this isn't as good as the other one was, but it's a different view, so it's a little easier for me to deal with right now. What else? I don't know. I'm just it's a little after 8 o'clock. I'm thinking of bouncing out of here right now and get a few things done before I got 2 hours. I'll be in bed. and I want to check out a bunch of other things, research some stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is say goodnight to everybody and thank everybody for coming in. And I'll look for the Uncle Jim video and, and go from there. It wasn't much of a show, just my gray hair on camera and in a robe smoking a cigarette. All right. So good night, everybody. I want to thank you for coming in. Like I said, this is my very first live stream, which wasn't intended to be. It just came to be. Vanessa, I want to thank you for all your good questions, and hopefully I was helpful to you. And to everybody else that showed up, thanks for showing up. All right, so we're going to end this. Have a good night, everybody. And Uncle Jim, I'll be looking for your video.